Aral Sea Water Project.
The Aral Sea, located between Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, was previously the fourth largest lake in the world. With an area of about 26,300 miles squared and around 1,100 islands, it was definitely big. Originally, the Aral Sea gets its water from the Amu Darya and the Sir Darya, in addition to rainfall. Sadly, this soon changed.
The Aral Sea began to shrink in 1960 because of the Soviet irrigation redirected the rivers that fed the body of water. The Russian irrigation was used to create fruit, cereal, and cotton, and it was economically viable for the time, but not environmentally. As time progressed, the Aral Sea shrunk more and more until 2014, where it completely dried up. As a result of this, many people were displaced and economic downfall ensured, leading to complications. Additionally, dry areas coated with salt and chemicals were left behind, polluting the surrounding environment.
One of the biggest issues that came with this diversion of the water was the newfound economic downturn in the region. As the sea receded, the old fishing town of Aralsk was left in the dust. They couldn't provide for their families, they couldn't fish, they couldn't feed. At its peak in 1957, the Aral Sea produced more than 48,000 tons of fish, which was about 13% of the Soviet Union's stocks. And thousands living in the towns around this lake relied on the fishing industry. And as a result, when the sea dried up, they were forced to migrate away. Those who stayed, however, were hit by extreme weather brought on by the dried out Aral seabed and rampant disease from unhealthy drinking water. And by 1987, of the 20 native species of the fish, due to the high salinity of the water, none were left. So the project is what came to fix it. In order to have the lake return, an 8-mile-long dam named Dike Kokarel, funded by the World Bank, was built in 2005. It diverts the flow from the two rivers into the lake, and additionally, repairs were done to existing dikes. In total, the project cost around $86 million, but it led to an incredibly surprising 11-foot water rise after just 7 months.
The dam, in addition to the repairs, allowed the fish population to return and brought electricity. In 2006, there was 1,360 tons of fish found in the sea, the majority being flounder. In 2016, the Aralsk Fish Inspection recorded 7,106 tons of freshwater species. However, the South Sea had to be sacrificed in order for this to happen. The flow from the North Sea to the South Sea was dammed, causing it to go dry most times of the year. The Kazakhstan government played a key role in the recovery process by prioritizing environmental and ecological improvements over capital gain, unlike the previous Soviets.
In hindsight, the Aral Sea dried up because of the prolonged drought caused by Joseph Stalin, the former leader of the Soviets. Stalin believed that his government could change the land and the environment with their power. This belief drove him to divert the rivers flowing from the Aral Sea in order to receive capital gain from crops. If Stalin had changed the flow of the rivers to grow economically, the Aral Sea would be completely different.
Nowadays, Kazakhstan, after pumping millions of dollars into projects related to the Aral Sea, is finally seeing steady water level raises. People are moving back into towns near the Aral Sea, and their oil-heavy economy is now steadily improving by other means. Sadly, however, the Aral Sea will never be able to return to its original state, because the South Sea being sacrificed and because of oil drilling in other dry areas. However, the North Sea will continue to prosper because of the lack of Soviet irrigation and the Dike Kokarel Dam.
The drying up of the Aral Sea was a horrific event, and it was declared a natural/environmental disaster by the UN.
But because of the changes that have been implemented into the system, the Aral Sea is now back to 50% of what it was.
However, for many, the perils that the Aral Sea went through are not known, and greater awareness needs to be raised so that the water levels and the people in the surrounding towns can return to normal life again. On one spot by the Aral Sea, there were 100 households, and as soon as the sea started to dry up, that shrunk down to 8 households. However, now that the sea has started to return, the number went back up to 25, and with further action made to bring this sea back, a greater population will be seen, and the towns surrounding the lake will prosper.
Thank you!